Hi, this is Amy Romeo from the jewelry and craft making blog amyromeo.com, and on this channel I share fun and easy jewelry making and craft projects. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these very cute snowman earrings with faux leather, heat transfer vinyl, and a Cricut. I'll have the SVG pattern for you on my blog, which you can download from a link I'll leave in the description, and you can craft along with me. So if you're ready to learn how to make these, let's get started. Let's go over the tools and materials I'll use to make these snowman earrings. The first is a Cricut cutting machine. I'll be using the Cricut Maker, but you could also use an Explorer Air 2 or the Cricut Joy. I'll link to a video I have about cutting faux leather on a Joy that you'll want to check out if that's the machine you'll be using for this project. I'll be using a purple strong grip cutting mat and a green standard grip cutting mat, some white faux leather with a smooth texture. You can use pebbled texture if that's what you have, but the smooth is going to be better for this project. Also some blue painter's tape to tape the faux leather down to the mat for cutting. Now the snowman is going to use a couple colors of heat transfer vinyl for his body. So the orange will be for his nose and the black will be for other elements of the design. These I would recommend using a solid heat transfer vinyl that will be easy to weed. And then for his scarf, I have two different versions for you. One is a striped scarf and the other is solid. And I recommend using a solid regular heat transfer vinyl. Again, that's easy to weed for the striped design. And if you wanted to use glitter or something fun, then I would recommend using the solid design. I'll show you that as we go. And then I'll use my Cricut Easy Press Mini to press down the vinyl layers onto the faux leather snowman with a little cover sheet. This is a little piece of Teflon sheet that I've cut down to size, or you could use parchment paper. I'll use a 1/16 inch hole punch to punch the holes, and I'll use my weeding tool to weed the vinyl. For the earring hooks, I will use two pair of flat nose pliers to put the earrings together, and I'll be showing you how to put the earring hooks on with some 6mm jump rings using the pliers. And I'll also show you how to use these ball ear wire hooks that don't require any jewelry making tools. And also I'll show you an optional step, which is to put some heat transfer vinyl on the back of the faux leather before we even cut it with the Cricut. And this will give your earrings a more professional look, and it'll also keep the little earrings from curling. So if you're ready to get started, let me show you how to grab the SVG cut file from my resource library on my website. Let me show you how to get the SVG cut file for the snowman earrings from my website. You'll go to amyromeo.com, and on the menu bar you'll click on Resource Library. If you already have a password, you'll enter the password and you'll locate the file inside my library. You can search by the word snowman and you'll find them. Or if you don't have a password, you can click on Get a Password, fill out the little form, and the password will be emailed to you. And then you can return to the resource library and click on the file to download it to your device. You'll need to unzip the file folder before you can upload the file to Cricut Design Space. Once you're in Cricut Design Space, you'll click on New Project and then Upload and Upload Image, and you'll browse to where the SVG cut file is located on your device, already unzipped. I'll click on it to select it, and I'll see a little preview of the designs, and I'll click Save, and then click on the snowman again and click Insert Images. And I'll drag these up here to the top left-hand corner of my mat. And I just wanted to show you, like I was mentioning before, there's two different versions of the design. One with stripes, so the white of the snowman will show through on all these stripes, and then here's a solid scarf. And I recommend using glitter heat transfer vinyl on the solid version, and then you could use a regular standard heat transfer vinyl on the stripes so it's easier to weed. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and ungroup these, and I only want to cut these solid ones with the blue glitter. So I'm going to hide all the other ones just by clicking on the little eye next to the layers panel. And that way we won't have too many shapes in Design Space. I'll select them all again, and they're already perfectly sized for earrings. So I will go ahead and click the Make It button. And Design Space will separate our snowman designs into 4 different mats. And I like to cut the faux leather mat first. And what I like to do on this preview screen is make a note of what size faux leather I'll need to cut to put on the mat, so the shapes will cut out completely. So I'd like to cut a piece of faux leather that's about 3.5 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And then depending on what type of material you're using, that'll determine what settings you use for your vinyl mats. So the black, I'll be using regular heat transfer vinyl, so you could use the vinyl setting or the washi sheet setting, which is my preferred vinyl setting for small designs like this one. The same thing with the nose, I'll cut that using washi sheet. And then the blue scarf mat, I will cut using the glitter vinyl setting. But first let's go back here and we're going to cut the faux leather setting, the faux leather mat, excuse me. I'll press continue. And the setting I like to use to cut faux leather is the faux leather paper thin setting. If you're using the Explore Air 2, you'll want to have your dial set to custom before you can make this material selection. If you don't have faux leather paper thin as a favorite like I do, you can click on Browse All Materials and search for it. So I will click that to select it, and I like to cut faux leather with the More pressure setting. And now I'll show you how to prepare the mat and we'll start to make our cuts. So the first thing I want to show you how to do is an optional step, but it's one I recommend, and it's going to be to put some foil iron-on or solid heat transfer vinyl onto the back of the faux leather before we even cut the shapes. And this is going to add some nice structure to your earrings and also make the back look really pretty. I wanted to show you with my candy cane earrings. This is the front, obviously, and on the back I have some silver foil iron-on, and it just makes it look pretty. If you don't want it to be a feature color like this one, then just do white. And if you like these earrings, I have these and some Santas in another video, and I'll link to that video for you. So I've cut the white faux leather to the size that I noted earlier in the matte preview screen, and then I've cut the foil iron-on. This is a Cricut brand. I'll link it to the exact one I used in the description box. I've cut the foil just slightly smaller than the faux leather. And I've got the faux leather. This is the pretty side. I'm going to put it pretty side down on my pressing pad and put the foil shiny side up. So this part of the foil, it will be adhering to the back of the faux leather. And I'll cover with my Teflon sheet. And I'm using an Easy Press Mini set on the medium setting. You could also use an easy press or a traditional heat press for this step, or even a home iron. So I will just press all over. This will be warm to the touch, so be careful. In order to keep the foil from wrinkling, try and keep your material flat on your mat and then peel away the carrier sheet. And applying foil iron-on or heat transfer vinyl to the back of faux leather before cutting is just one of a couple different ways you can add a back to faux leather earrings. I get that question a lot, so I made a video about 4 different ways to put a back on faux leather earrings, and I will link to that for you so you can check that video out. Now we have this ready to cut. I'll be using the purple Strong Grip cutting mat. I will place the faux leather pretty side down in the top corner of my mat. I think it went that way. Press down firmly. And I will use regular blue painter's tape from the hardware store. And I will tape down the faux leather on all 4 sides. So there's 2 things we're doing here to help us get good cuts. One is we are trimming the material to size, because a small piece of faux leather is going to stick better to the mat than a large one. And we're taping down with the blue painter's tape. I already have Design Space ready to go with the faux leather paper thin setting. I want to make sure that my star wheels on the rollers are pushed all the way to the side so they don't make track marks in the faux leather. If you're using the Explore Air 2, this process is exactly the same. You have the same material setting. You want to make sure your wheels are to the side, and we'll press the button to put the mat in the machine, and press the C button to begin the cut. I always check the cuts before I unload the mat, and I do that using a sharp tool like my weeding tool, and I just want to get in there and see if the cut worked well. And I think it did, but I want to demonstrate how to cut again if necessary. You just press the C button again, and that will repeat the cut as long as you haven't unloaded the mat. So let's do that one more time just to make sure these little snowman cut out all the way. So I'll unload the mat, and these little guys should just come right up from the mat. Now there are some little fuzzies. I don't know if you can see them, but I will get in there with some small scissors and just trim them up. But that's a great cut. We'll get both of these little guys up. And again, if you don't want the back to be an accent color, like this royal blue, then you can just put white on the back. Or you can skip the step altogether. So we've got the little snowman ready to go. And now I'm going to return to Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to cut my 3 vinyl mats. I'll use the green standard grit mat, and for these 2 solid HTV colors, as I said, I will use the washi sheet setting. You could also use the vinyl setting or whatever your preferred vinyl cut setting is, and I'll use the glitter vinyl setting for the blue. And then I'll show you how we're gonna assemble the snowman earrings after I've weeded out the shapes. We'll do that in the next step. Okay, so I just finished weeding out all of the heat transfer vinyl layers, and I used my little 4-inch Fiskars curved scissors to trim up the edges of the snowman. I love those. And I wanted to show you the difference quickly between the glitter solid scarf for the snowman and the striped one. And if you can see how teeny tiny those little cutout lines are that will let the white of the snowman show through, that would be very difficult to cut in glitter vinyl, especially if you're new to vinyl. I'm very experienced in heat transfer vinyl, and I know that this would make me crazy. So this is why I recommend cutting the solid scarf in glitter and using regular heat transfer vinyl for the stripes. I'm going to be making a red pair to show you after, but we'll continue on with our blue snowman now. So again, I'll be using my Easy Press Mini. I'm going to use the low setting now because I will be layering the heat transfer vinyl and pressing more than once, so I don't want to build up too much heat. And again, I'll need my little Teflon sheet or parchment paper. And the first layer I want to use is the black layer because it has the hat, and that's going to help me know where to place it. And that'll give me a guideline for where everything else goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and line it up. I'll do the other one while I'm at it. Whenever you're layering vinyl on top of, you know, something like a faux leather layer like we're doing, or even on a shirt, it's good to have one layer sort of have a registration mark, a place that you can identify and know exactly where it goes. And that'll help put the other layers where they should go. So I'm ready to press this. I'm just going to cover it with my Teflon sheet. Again, you could use a home iron for this or an easy press. I would not recommend this step with a giant traditional heat press because it'll be hard to control the pressure and you might flatten the leather. I'm just going to go ahead and pass over this a few times. With layering heat transfer vinyl on shirts or on earrings, you don't want to press for the full amount of time because you'll be pressing multiple times and then your layers will get too hot. So we're just going to press just enough to get that faux leather to stick. I'm sorry, the heat transfer vinyl to stick to the faux leather. And Now I want to do the nose. Always make sure to cover with a cover sheet. And we'll peel that off. And then we will do our little scarf. Just line that up. And press. And I just want to repeat that on this side. And there we have our little snowman with the scarf. And again, after you press, you can always go back with some small scissors and trim away any little areas you want to trim. There's the blue foil on the back. And then I wanted to show you in the next step how we're going to attach the earring hooks. So now it's time to make the little earring holes in the snowman hats. And I'm going to use my 1/16 inch hole punch to do that. If you don't have a 1/16 inch hole punch, you can just use a sharp object. It's totally fine. I'm going to put the hole right up here in the top corner of his hat because he's a little heavy on this side, and that'll keep him balanced and straight when we hang the earring hooks. And this works just like a regular hole punch would, except the hole is very tiny. I know that's hard to see, but just punching through. And you can see that made a nice little hole. And I like to line up my shapes. And often I will just use one to punch through to the other side, but in this case I'm going to use a sharp tool just to mark, kind of press through. And I can kind of see my little shape there. Let's see if I can get this a little, there we go. And I'll just punch. If there's any little bit of the hole, just pull it off the back. And now we have those holes punched. I also wanted to show you, I told you I was going to make a red sample. And then I wanted you to see how cute it looks with the striped scarf and the glitter scarf. And actually I'll use these red ones to show you quickly how you can use these ball ear wires to make earrings right away without having to mess with any jewelry making tools. This is available at Amazon, or I bought these at Hobby Lobby. Let me see where my little pack is. This is what they look like at Hobby Lobby. And they just slide in the hole. And you pull the earring down and you can pinch this little ball closed to keep the earring on nice and securely. Just do that again. Isn't that cute? Very easy earrings. But if you do want to use jewelry making tools and traditional shepherd's hook earring hooks, you'll need to turn this bottom loop first so that when you attach your earring with a jump ring, it will hang straight. And to do that, I like to use my 2 pair of flat nose jewelry making pliers. And I'm left-handed. You can do this either way. I like to hold the hook firmly between my thumb and forefinger in one side, and I like to grip the loop with flat nose pliers on the other side and just do a quick twist of the wrist. If you've tried this and you're having trouble with your earring hooks breaking, you want to make sure you have a nice firm grip here and a nice grip here. If you're gripping firmly on both sides and you're still having breakage, then it could be the quality of your earring hooks. So you can see there, I've changed the direction of the loop. And I'll show you how to open up the jump rings. The jump ring has an opening at the top. And again, I like to use 2 pair of pliers. I like to hold If the opening is 12 o'clock on a clock, I like to put my pliers one at 9 o'clock and one at 3 o'clock. And again, I'm left-handed, so I twist with my left wrist, but you can do either way. Basically, one wrist is going to stay still and one wrist is going to turn to open the jump ring. And I like to just hold on to the jump ring with the pliers to help me. I'll put the little snowman on, and I will put my earring hook, and then just twist in the opposite direction to get your earring. Aren't they cute? And the little snowman earrings are all set. I really hope you enjoyed that project and you're going to be making some snowman earrings of your own. Remember to head over to my blog at amyromeo.com and get the SVG pattern to make these snowman earrings yourself from my resource library. And I'll see you in the next video.